Hello, you've reached the Calling BS hotline, a place and a space for calling out all the things we think are BS in the world. I know a thing or two about BS. My name is Brett Schklar. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here to talk about all those things that frustrate you, those things that annoy you, crawl into your skin, the things that are absolutely positively unnecessary in the world and just bother us all. So before we get into today's topic of calling BS, which is all about deceptive SaaSHole pricing models, I want to introduce this show. This is my first time doing this show. This is a result of hearing a lot of people who liked some concepts I did, and they wanted to hear what calling BS was all about. So let me backtrack you a little bit. And really, we have my mom and dad to thank for giving me the initials BS. And I used to tell people all the time that I got a BS in BS, because Brett Schklar got a bachelor's of science in basically public relations, which can be a lot of BS. And so I always thought that was a fun little thing to do. But when I started writing a book about CEOs not really adopting AI fast enough and not having a really good playbook to use to put together their AI plan, I decided to give that name some juice. And so I wrote the book, AI Without the BS, the CEO's Playbook for Actually Getting AI Right. And I got a lot of my friends that mentioned, hey, that's a really cute and clever way to use BS because we know that you are a bunch of BS, Brett Schklar. And after conversations and talking about the book, people started telling me about all these other things that they wanted to basically call BS on. And so I sent out a note on Facebook and on LinkedIn, and I said, hey, if I did a show called Calling BS, what do you think of that? Like, what would be some topics? And I was blown away by the response that I got from so many people that A, thought it was a great idea, and B, gave me their ideas of things to talk about. So that's why we're here. That's why we're doing this show. My goal is that these shows are somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes, a dog walk or a car drive or something like that. Not really long, not super long form. Today is a little bit longer as I sort of set the stage for what this show is all about. But I really want it to be just quick, punchy, and just useful information that you can get to quickly. So our first episode, Deceptive SaaSHole pricing models. And in our show, we're going to kind of go through what's the BS, how's it impacting us, where do we see the frustration, who do we get to blame, which is always fun to figure out who to point the finger at. But then most importantly, what can we do about it, right? What can we do to help stop the BS, which is really important. This isn't just a venting session. This is a session where we get to really uncover and unpack a lot of these things. So let's dive in. The reason why I think it's important that we're looking at these BS deceptive SaaSHole pricing models is because AI is changing things so quickly. So companies right now, when you go to buy some type of software application or some SaaS platform, whether it's $20 a month or $50 a month or a couple $100 a month, they give you the monthly price, and then they give you the annual price in the equivalent of what the monthly price would be. And we all know how to do the math. We know how to reverse engineer these numbers, but it's frustrating and it's annoying because they get us excited about a really good price that looks like it's a monthly price until you move that little bar over, that little button over to go to the monthly, and then all of a sudden it's a 20% more or 25% more. And I think that's a lot of BS, especially in the world of AI, when we don't know if a software platform is going to handle our needs for the long term, or if some competitor to the platform you chose is going to outflank and be better, faster, and stronger, and you're stuck with the other platform because you signed up for a long-term plan. So I think it's a lot of BS that not only are people trying to push us to use annual subscriptions in a world where AI is changing things so fast that there's no way we know what the world's going to look like 12 months from now. but also the fact that they're using a lot of deception in the way that they present and show the pricing that can be very confusing, especially to those of us who can't really math and reverse engineer those numbers. So that's the frustration. That's the BS. That's how it impacts us. And those are a couple of examples. And by the way, software companies are not alone. You've got a lot of these EV vehicles, the electric vehicles, and they incorporate the gas price savings as well as the tax incentive savings. And you don't really have the right price, especially if you're looking at a lease. It's not accurate. And so that's deceptive as well. So who do we blame for all of this stuff? Again, it's not necessary to blame somebody, but it sure is fun to point the finger somewhere. The earliest instance I can see now, let's go back into the Wayback Machine. You used to have to buy software on CDs, and before that, floppy disk. You get 25 to 30 different floppy disks to install an operating system. That was kind of fun, good times. Or maybe a tape cassette if you had a Commodore 64. But you would buy the software. You would buy it for a price. And if you wanted the updates and you wanted access to support, you would also pay a monthly subscription price. It's usually around 15 to 25% annually of the price of the software initially. And they'd offer you a 2-year discount and they'd offer you a 3-year discount. And so I think about tools like QuickBooks when you go to Costco or to Walmart or to Target and you buy it there, or Microsoft Office, and you'd buy that and then get the pay a little bit of money each year for getting that support and getting the updates. So that was the old school way. Salesforce.com, they really changed everything. They really created the SaaS model. There were others that did it before, but they really got it right and dialed it in and really defined that market. But they weren't the ones that tried to do this monthly versus annual pricing. As far as I can tell, going way back in the Wayback Machine, one of the first companies that did this type of deceptive pricing was HubSpot. The CRM, the marketing automation platform, basically the backbone of all types of go-to-market initiatives that a lot of companies are using and loving. It's a great platform. But I believe that they might be one of the earliest ones I could find that use this model of showing the annual commitment in a monthly price equivalent. And I just think that's a bunch of BS. So then what can we do about this? Well, you actually have the ability to do a lot. First of all, don't sign up for the annual plan. Show a lot of these companies that annual plans are not a good option as AI is changing software so quickly. Second thing is just reach out to them. Let them know that you feel it's deceptive. Don't shame them or blast them on your socials or your feeds or your reels or complain in that way. Just send them a note and say, I believe this is slightly deceptive. Now, there are a couple of companies I've seen that when you switch it from the monthly to the annual, it shows $50 a month or it shows $500 a year. And it's not trying to deceive you in a lower monthly price. And I like that. That's as vanilla, as cut and dry, as direct as it gets. But a lot of other ones have adopted this model where it's kind of deceptive, showing that monthly price, but you have to sign up and pay for it annually to get that lower price. So I think let's just try to get done with it. And that's it. That's my first edition of Calling BS. I hope you like this. I hope it is fun. I hope it is helpful. And if you want to vent or you want to complain, I want to see those. Also, you're going to hear me talk about this every time, but don't subscribe or don't like unless you really like it and unless you really want to subscribe. I know that the algorithms want us to tell everyone to like and subscribe. I just want you to do it if you like it. I think that the algorithms are a bunch of BS as well. And that's probably 20 topics about algorithms and how it tries to train us to manipulate people through video. And I just don't think that's very good. Don't forget to grab my book. Reach out to me if you've got any questions about it. Check out AIFirstLeadership.com. That's the company I've created to help CEOs and business leaders really figure out AI. It's not complicated, but it's also not a simple process either. And until next time, Let's just keep calling it like we see it. Sound good? Cool. I'm Brett Schklar. Thank you very much.